Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is NURINA binti Muhammad ROFIDI. I'm from Group 7 ALG 2401A. Today I'll be presenting our synthetic analysis for EPC 424, description of English syntax. In this presentation, I will explain how a sentence can be analyzed using basic sentence patterns, non-restrictive modifiers, the main clause, and a tree diagram. This analysis helps us understand how different structure elements work together to form a complete and meaningful structure. For the content of the presentation, first I will explain the basic sentence patterns of the chosen sentence. Next, I will discuss non-restrictive modifiers 1, followed by non-restrictive modifiers 2. After that, I will explain the main clause, which carries the core meaning of the sentence. Finally, I will present the tree diagram to visually represent the syntactic structure of the entire sentence. Now, let us move on to the chosen sentence. For many low-income families, particularly in Kelantan and Terengganu, batik has enabled socio-economic mobility. This sentence was chosen because it contains both a clear main clause and non-restrictive modifiers, making it suitable for synthetic analysis. The sentence can be divided into three main parts. The first part is non-restrictive modifier 1, which is for many low-income families. The second part is non-restrictive modifiers 2, which is batik has enabled socio-economic mobility. While the non-restrictive modifiers add extra information, the main clause carries the essential meaning of the sentence. Let us now look at non-restrictive modifier 1. The phrase "for many low-income families" function as a non-restrictive modifier because it provides additional information about who benefits, but it is not essential to the sentence structure. Grammatically, this phrase is a prepositional phrase introduced by the preposition for. The object of the preposition is many low-income families, which is a noun phrase. This phrase does not contain a verb, so it is not a clause. If we remove this modifier, the sentence batik has enabled socio-economic mobility is still grammatically complete. Therefore, this phrase is classified as a non-restrictive modifier rather than a core clause. Next, we have non-restrictive modifier 2. The phrase "particularly in Kelantan and Terengganu" provides additional information about location. It is also a prepositional phrase introduced by the preposition "particularly in." Kelantan and Terengganu are proper nouns joined by the conjunction "and." Similar to the first modifier, this phrase does not restrict or define the subject, batik. Removing this phrase does not affect the grammatical correctness of the sentence. Therefore, it is also classified as a non-restrictive modifier. Now, let us focus on the main clause of the sentence. The main clause is batik has enabled socio-economic mobility. This clause forms the core meaning of the sentence because it contains a subject and a predicate and can stand alone as a complete sentence. The subject of the clause is batik, which is a noun phrase. The verb group is has enabled, which is a transitive verb group. The verb shows present perfect aspect. There is no modality because no modal auxiliary is used. And the voice is active because the subject performs the action. The direct object of the verb is socio-economic mobility. Together, these elements form a complete and meaningful main clause. Now, I will explain the tree diagram step by step. At the top of the tree diagram, we have S, which stands for sentence. This represents the entire sentence as one complete syntactic unit. Moving on, the sentence is then divided into two main parts. On the left, we have NRM, which stands for non-restrictive modifiers. On the right, we have MCL, which stands for main clause. This division shows that the non-restrictive modifiers provide additional information, while the main clause carries the core meaning of the sentence. Starting with the left side, under NRM, the first branch is NRM1, which represents the phrase "for many low-income families." This phrase is analyzed as a prepositional phrase. The prepositional here is "for", and it introduces the phrase. The object of the preposition is the noun phrase "many low-income families." Within this noun phrase, many function as a determiner, low income function as an adjective, and families is the head noun. Since this phrase does not contain a verb and is not essential to the sentence structure, it is classified as a non-restrictive modifier. Next, the second branch under NRM is NRM2, which represents the phrase particularly in Kelantan and Terengganu. This phrase is also an prepositional phrase. The preposition is particularly in, the object of the preposition is Kelantan and Terengganu. Here, Kelantan and Terengganu are proper nouns and they are joined by the conjunction "and". This modifier provides additional information about location, but it does not affect the grammatical completeness of the sentence. Moving to the right side of the diagram, we have MCL, which stands for main clause. The main clause is analysed into two main components, which are the subject and the predicate. Following that, the subject of the main clause is batik, which is a noun phrase. It functions as the subject because it performs the action in the sentence. Finally, the predicate consists of a verb phrase. The verb group is has enabled, which is a transitive verb group in the present perfect form. There is no modality because no modal auxiliary is used and the voice is active. The verb takes a direct object, which is the noun phrase socioeconomic mobility. Within this noun phrase, socioeconomic functions as an adjective and mobility is the head noun. In summary, the diagram shows how the sentence is hierarchically structured, with the main clause forming the core and the non-restrictive modifiers branching out as optional elements. This clearly illustrates that the sentence remains complete even without the non-restrictive modifiers. To conclude, this sentence consists of one main clause and two non-restrictive modifiers. The main clause carries the core meaning of the sentence, while the non-restrictive modifiers provide additional but non-essential information. Through the analysis, we can clearly see how different syntactic elements work together to form a complete and meaningful sentence. I hope this explanation has helped clarify how sentence structure works in English syntax. Thank you for listening, and that is all from me.